on the wall right now as to where Doc Rivers is going to be. But bottom line, it's not going to be here in Philadelphia. So Doc takes to the microphone before the game yesterday. I read this from our friend Tom Moore, who's been on the show a bunch. And Tom Moore came out and tweeted it saying that Doc Rivers said, "I wish I could watch the media play. Then we'd really know something." I don't want to brag, but I played in that charity basketball game over the weekend. I hit a 3 and a jumper. So, Doc, you don't want none of this smoke. All right, now that that's out of the way. Whenever anyone says anything to the effect of, "I'd like to see you go out there and shoot threes. I'd like to see you go out there and shoot free. I'd like to see you go out there and play." Okay, I'm almost 40. A lot of media members are a lot older than I am. A lot of media members are in worse shape than I am. A lot of media members have their jobs mostly because of their writing ability and their insight from afar. That is why they have their job, not because of athletic ability. That's why you have so many great, backup players that weren't the all-stars that are great managers and coaches and all that stuff. The guy I always go back to is Ted Williams with the Washington Senators. They weren't doing anything. Wayne Gretzky, Magic Johnson, all sub-500 coaches. What do you think about these guys? So please, easy on the "why aren't you media members? I'd like to see you play." Well, there's a reason we're not playing. We're not athletes. We're here for our minds, our thoughts, the way we look at it from afar objectively. Not the way you're looking at it because you're more invested, because you're sitting there trying to root this player on, trying to groom this player into something special. It's very different. Physical ability does not equal mentality or knowledge. So let's just push that stupid thing aside for a second and go to this. The Sixers go out and they win last night. Paul Reed gets 25 points. A lot of people want Paul Reed to have success in the NBA, and you should. Why not? G League MVP, got them to a G League championship, easy guy to root for, put in the work, the whole thing. Why wouldn't you want him to have success? Doc Rivers feels like he is still not worth the minutes that you would have against a bigger big, okay? He feels like he's more worth the minutes against a smaller lineup, and I think there's a lot to be said for that. I think he's absolutely right. But last night he goes out there, he gets you 25 points, a career high. He goes out there and he dominates, and he was great last night. And Matisse Thybulle had a great game for himself as well. Really impressed with what the Sixers were able to do last night with Paul Reed in the lineup. After the game, you just think to yourself, there's a better way to do this. Doc Rivers last night on Paul Reed and the performance he had against the Detroit Pistons as the Sixers wind down their season. Here is Doc Rivers on Paul Reed.
Doc, given the way that Paul has played the last couple games, do you see yourself maybe winning?
We're not going to go on the Paul Reed victory tour, so don't start. We're trying to win a world championship, man.
But to that point, Doc, just seeing him have a couple good games under his belt,
that's huge for us. But having said that, I got a feeling Joel will be playing more. Unless y'all want us to sit him. So I don't get caught up in all that stuff.
We're going for a record today. So first off, hey, NBA writers, I want you guys to play so we can find out something. We're going to find out that they're better suited as writers. Okay. All right. We're not going on a Paul Reed victory tour when the guy just had 25 points in 21 minutes. All right. And he did that coming off the bench, by the way, in this game. And then he says, we're probably going to have Joel play more minutes. Something tells me that, unless you guys want me to bench Joel. Wow. This is a record already in condescension in one press conference. This is amazing. I remember one time Doug Collins had like this 30-minute press conference where he was just raining down on his players and how bad they were and how when he played the game, he ran out of his sneakers. And that's why, as a player, we loved Doug Collins in this city. We absolutely did. But then they just give a press conference like this. You're like, what the hell's happening, Doug? What are you doing? And now we're looking at Doc Rivers, and I'm like, Doc, I wanted you here. I wanted your authority here. I wanted your respect here. I wanted your knowledge as a player here. And hopefully that would crack the code of Ben Simmons. That didn't work, not even a little bit. And now this is where we are on the heels of a first-round playoff exit, because also Matisse Thybulle can't play until at least once these games. So that's great. So now that's where we're at right now. Now you listen to Doc Rivers as he goes on. And by the way, If you're Paul Reed and you hear that, what the hell, man? I just had the greatest game of my life. And you're out here talking about what I didn't earn as a head coach, as a former player. Is that what you want to hear from your coach? There's a much better way to answer that question. And it's a very easy way to answer that question than try to be condescending, short, flat out rude to the media person asking that question. You know what the answer to that question is? Paul gave us a lot to think about. Hell of a player. Oh, but no, I'm Doc Rivers. Let me grandstand for a second here.